up on all your hockey for next season. See you May 31st through June 2nd for howling great savings at Hockey and Lacrosse Wolf.
It's the day you've been waiting for, opening day for your Missoula Paddleheads, coming up Tuesday, June 4th, opposite the Great Falls Voyagers. To celebrate, the Paddleheads will be giving away a 2024 specialty poster to the first 1,000 fans in the stadium. The place to be this summer for family entertainment is Legion's Field at Ogren Park, as your Paddleheads look to make a postseason push for the 4th straight year. It all begins with opening day, Tuesday, June 4th. Tickets and more at gopaddleheads.com.
Celebrate queer joy with the 3rd annual Missoula Pride Celebration, coming to Missoula June 14th to the 16th. Find more than 35 events over the weekend, plus amazing talent taking over the Main Street Block Party Friday and Saturday. Catch them on Main and Ryman dancing it out with headliners Slater, Recno, Charlie Tuna, and local talent. Monks will have a special showcase highlighting queer and BIPOC trailblazers of house and techno with Ashton Swinton, Lauren, and Sinistar. Follow along on socials at Missoula Pride and find the full list of Fabulous at MissoulaPride.com.
It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Colter Nuanez.
Last night I had to put sheets and blankets, or I guess my wife did, over the flowers so they didn't freeze. Now it's hotter than a mug outside. Welcome into Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. Hi, everybody. The NAIA World Series is still going, but the games are now not during our showtime, so we're back on the tube. And as always, you can stream us on YouTube and on the ESPN MT app. Rajiv Seabrook in studio wearing his De La Soul sweatshirt, looking very nice, my friend.
You know how I roll, brother. Old school, but new.
But new. Good to see you. Raj and I will be rocking and rolling all the way around this Freestyle Friday. So buckle up. Welcome in. Thanks so much for listening. Plenty of stuff to get to. The Olympics are creeping up on us. They're right around the corner. So we're going to talk some Olympic memories and just some of our favorite Olympic things. We also have a couple debates to have just about the Olympics, specifically Olympic basketball, because sort of the dominance of Team USA is omnipresent. There was the dip, sort of in the early 2000s when Team USA lost its luster. That was also kind of the tipping point of when basketball truly became a global game. And you're seeing that right now. I mean, look at the NBA Finals. I mean, one of the best players in the world. I mean, several of the best players in the world right now are international players, and perhaps the player that is playing the best on the planet Earth right now is Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks, and they are into the NBA Finals as of last night. So there's some symmetry there when it comes to the dream team, the Olympics, the rise of basketball internationally, and the influence it's had right now in today's NBA and just on the global scale as well. We'll also talk some of the best individual performances from around the Garden City, our Garden City Spotlight, highlighting we talked a ton of track this week. I couldn't believe how impressive I thought the high school track and field meets were last week. 7 all-class records fell last weekend, including 6 at the AA meet alone. We spent so much time talking about those young people. There was a lot of young people just from the city of Missoula that had great track seasons and great state meets. So we'll highlight some of them here in hour number 1 as well. We'll talk some NBA Finals. The matchup is set with the Celtics and the Mavericks. And then hour number 2, we'll have a whole bunch of fun. We'll play some smart, dumb NFL over-under win totals. We only got to 2 of the divisions last week, so we got to get to the other 6, or at least as many as we can. This might trickle into next week as well. But how you doing, dude? It's the last day of May. Here we are. June is on the horizon. It feels like it's maybe kind of almost summer. It's feeling good.
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, it feels like summer for me. Today was my son's last day of school.
Oh, they get out early.
Yeah, because they're smart.
Yeah, right. Well, right. Like the first 2 weeks of June is just nothing. Like all the kids are just clamoring, beating on the walls, let me outside. So.
Oh, dude, kids are falling asleep at desks. They're drooling on each other. They're done. Teachers, they don't even comb hair at this time of year. Like, it's just right. Like you put it up under a baseball cap and you call it a day. Yeah, it feels like summer. As soon as Memorial Day hits, it's always dual fold for me because I usually travel for work right around then. It's Memorial Day and my son's birthday. So to me, those are the three, the gateways to the summer. Yeah, man, I'm ready for summer. The rivers are starting to rise a little bit. I hope they rise a little bit more soon. It's looking a little bleak out there currently.
Certainly.
But yeah, man, summer's here, brother. Let's go.
Gotta love it. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Stream the show, 1029ESPN.com, as well as the ESPN MT app if you want to be a part of the show. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text us. We got a bunch of free coffee for you. We have been doing this daily, and we got a couple stacked up because we haven't had winners on certain days, so keep it coming in. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029.
Are you talking all this free coffee? Where's my coffee? You giving away all this? I'm here with you.
We got our first winner. Rajim winning some coffee today. It's as easy as that. 406-888-1029 if you want to win some Florence coffee. Text us right now. Let's dive into a Prep Extra presented by our good friends at Vertical Raise. Why is Vertical Raise different than other fundraising platforms? At first glance, it may seem like all fundraising platforms are similar, but that's far from the truth. Vertical Raise has improved the ways fundraisers are shared and made it easier for people to donate. So this is basically, if you have an organization, they're crowdsourcing. They're taking your people in your organization. They're saying, hey, let's find 10, 15, 20 people that you all know. We'll send them some texts, some emails, make some phone calls. Then they can all give to a certain cause, whether it's a sports team, a nonprofit. The things that set Vertical Raise apart, though, is their email system is elite, as well as they can take payments via Google and Apple Pay, Venmo, all these things that we use in the modern era that you guys all use. I'm banned for Venmo for life. # one night in Reno. Can't tell that story on the radio. But it's actually not that salacious. We got business fraud, and then, it's not even worth telling the story. Regardless, you can donate to these causes via Apple Pay and the like. That's what makes Vertical Raise an industry leader in the amount raised per campaign and net profit checks to organizations. Visit verticalraise.com to learn more. Also, congratulations. Shout out to our guy, Peter Hamill. He comes on the show during the fall for our Class AA Players of the Week every week during football season. Pete got married earlier this week. He had a little elopement there in Maui, so very good job, Peter. Congratulations to Rachel as well, and happy life. Wishing you the best, and the pictures were awesome, and I can't wait to celebrate with you when you get back to Montana. So personal shout out to one of our good friends and good friends of the show. Prep Extra talking some prep track and field. So first of all, we've been talking about how great all these track athletes have been all spring. Then they go out and prove it. Like sometimes when you have all these great marks, but then you get to state, sometimes the marks just aren't quite as good because there's a lot of pressure. You're still winning state championships, you get the gold medal, all that stuff. But I mean, some of these young people, you're talking like Jack Murray, last throw of the discus, goes 198-1. Like this is like a total freak out. Like you're shattering the oldest record in the state of Montana by more than 6 feet. You're breaking your personal best by more than 12 feet. A young lady like Ava Kellenberg from Missoula Sentinel.
Oh, amazing.
The last triple jump of her career. She hits the board and boom, 40 feet, 8 1/4 inches.
Filthy.
Shatters the all-class record. That's why I love track, man, because you have these like ultimate moments where it's up to you. That's it. Can you do it? This is, right now, this is the last moment of your high school career, or maybe of your athletic career, period. And these kids to step up and do it is unbelievable to watch.
I have enjoyed track because my son got into it this year.
I love that he's getting into it.
Oh, yeah. And we'll talk about that in a second. What I love and I've learned about track is it relates to me a little bit like golf. It's the only sport where you galvanize yourself.
Sure.
Right? Like the quarterback can be galvanized, but he didn't do it alone.
Sure, right.
Right? The stretch three, but he or she or they didn't do it alone. Like when giving credence to what you're saying, when you shatter those records, you shatter those moments, or you shatter your personal, your own PRs, it's amazing. And that it's track's the only thing that really does that unto itself.
For sure. There's no doubt. I mean,
I love that.
There's moments in which like the big time clutch scenarios can come up.
Yes.
But so much circumstance has to go into that.
Totally.
Like the amount of chance that has to happen for you to hit a buzzer beater in your last high school basketball game, you just don't get a chance to shoot the buzzer beater. It's not about if you can hit it or not. You're just not going to get that chance.
Yeah.
track presents these great moments to you
every time.
And then how do you respond,
yes,
right?
Sir.
We talked about this last week, like last 2 weeks ago, in fact, at the NCAA West Regionals. Elena Carter, the great hurdler for Montana State from Helena, she false starts in the hurdles. She's devastated. Her hurdling career at that exact moment is over. But then she gets the long jump, and she goes out and breaks her personal best by like 15 inches, and she just falls over because she's just so, the emotion overcomes her. It's so cool, right? Like Ava Kellenberg had talked about. She was on the show yesterday, and what a bright young lady.
Extremely bright. Good interview.
She said, I already knew I had the state championship
locked.
I had the gold medal, but she said my goal my whole high school career was to go over 40 feet in the triple jump, but I'd never done it. And then she did it on her last one. It's awesome, man. It gives me goosebumps. It's so sweet. So I think this is super cool. I love that your son's getting into track because I've been thinking about this. We talk a lot, and a lot of times we're being a little bit cynical and harsh about it, but it really is sort of stressful, especially as a parent. The industrial youth sports complex is out of control in this country. Like you're talking about how you got to pay to play and pay at a very high level and invest in these young people at such an early age. And I don't necessarily know if that specialization is that good for you. I think it's, in fact, quite exploitative. Like, I don't know if you have, like, a better chance of making a varsity basketball team if you're on a traveling team when you're 8. By the time you're 12, probably. But, like, you probably just benefit from going and playing in the park with your friends and your dad and, like, playing all the time, What I'm getting at, though, is that track, though, I think it gives you such this great blueprint because you can get into track at a high level, like when you're Quentin's age.
Yeah.
10 or 11 years old.
He's got a javelin coming in the mail in 9 days from today.
There you go. And and you go to a camp, they give you a workout. Great. Now you can do that workout for a whole year and go to the camp again next year because it's all about you. Like it is you against yourself all day, every day. I thought Spencer Hulls, the head coach at Corvallis, had a great line on this show a couple days ago. He said, track and field is the only sport in which you feel better and perform better at the end of the season than you do at the beginning of the season. Because so many other sports,
you peter out.
Or you're wear and tear on your body.
Totally.
You even see that with guys in the NBA. Like Anthony Edwards was just totally out of gas last night.
Oh, he's never played that much basketball in his life.
And he's one of the world-class athletes on the earth, right?
It's just a grind.
So I think that's the thing is I think that parents a lot of times have this false notion that, okay, I got to get my kid into these sports, into a sport intensively. There's a certain element of that does hold validity. There's also the other side of it where you're going to burn your kid out and they're not going to like any sports.
Either burn them out physically, socially, or emotionally.
Right.
I look at kids that play baseball.
Yes.
They don't, when you ask them, hey, what was your summer like when you were 16? They can't answer that sometimes.
Exactly.
Because they were in a dugout, and that's no knock on baseball.
Totally.
That's no knock on the sport. But you're sacrificing part of your youth. You're sacrificing being a kid,
for sure.
Which is so important.
Right.
Because when you look back at it, your memories are going to be on a bus with a bunch of sunflower seeds. There comes a point where it's like, I spent this time noodling around, having a lemonade stand, cutting someone else's grass, doing these things.
The river, doing
totally, yeah, man. And I don't know why we even got on that.
I just think it's interesting because I do think that if you're to specialize in a sport when you're like 9 or 10, I think that most of the side effects of that are going to be probably negative. Like it's not going to really help you if your ultimate goal is to go to the collegiate level. I do think if you start doing track workouts when you're young, though, it's going to help you exponentially. It's an interesting sport. I just don't think there's as much burnout associated with it because you're the one setting your own pace.
You're competing against the self. It's just it's a different type of competition and a different mentality. Totally.
And it's also like our good buddy Craig Metler always says, former Sentinel track coach.
Metler.
He always says that's how he used to recruit in the halls. He said, "Hey, come do track," and they'd be, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Hey, the only thing that's going to happen to you if you do track is you're going to become a better athlete. You want to be a better athlete? You want to be you don't think you're a track guy? You think you're a basketball guy? Great. Come do track. You'll be better at basketball.
Absolutely.
You want to be a better football player? Great. Come do track. You'll be better at football."
I agree.
It holds a lot of weight. So I think it's cool that Quentin's getting into it. My older nephew, he's getting into it as well, and I think it's awesome. So Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. We've seen, that's the other thing. We talked about this last week, but it's sort of like this perception that all sports are getting better all the time. I don't think that's actually true. And I think a lot of ways that there's certain elements, especially in basketball, where it's not getting better.
What does better mean, though? That's such an ambiguous word. Better what? Better ratings, better jersey sales, better
athletes
what?
are just better. They're better at the sports. I think people think that that's true, and I don't know if I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
I don't either.
I definitely don't think that's true. I think,
but we in track right now, we do have like the hard concrete evidence that the athletes are better than they've ever been before.
Oh, they're faster.
They're faster. They're throwing the stuff farther. Like the marks are blowing all the historical marks completely out of the water. So it's a great little sample size. I also think it's fascinating though that you can follow that sort of trajectory up through every level of track except for the top level of track. If you go look at the world record books, there's a couple events in which the world records have been they've like incrementally risen as time has gone on, but then there's a whole bunch of records that have stood for like 50, 60, 70 years, right? Mm-hmm. Like Bob Beeman's long jump record.
Oh, dude.
That stood for like 40 years, and then it got broken, but then that record hasn't gotten challenged for another 30. So I just find that's an interesting juxtaposition. Times across all levels of track and field are getting faster, and the throws are getting better. But then you get to certain events where we haven't seen anybody that even touches what some of the old world records are. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. It's a great question. I need to think about that. I think that there's a point in time where, as with anything, the ebbs and flows and the art and the science and technology that goes into things really change.
Sure.
Right? When I look at football of the 50s versus football of the 60s and then football of the 70s,
right,
there's a little pendulum swift in how people cared for their bodies and did things of that nature. So there's I don't know. I need to think about that. I also think that unlike some other sports, going back to the Olympics, sometimes things like within the realm of the Olympics, there's a bit more social commentary involved. So the expectations to, I guess, represent in a different way or not represent or not be misrepresented because of what's going on behind the non-Olympic doors is, World War I, World War II, so on and so forth, changes how things are done. And that's when some of those Olympic records sometimes are not able to be impacted because those athletes weren't there or they were banned or they weren't asked to be part of. So there's some integers, so to say, that detract away from some of those records being broken.
I think that's a really good point. I think there's also there's two other factors that I really thought of. First of all, in terms of like the horizontal jumps, because if you look at the world high jump record, the world high jump record has been broken like basically every Olympic cycle for like the last 100 years. Like it just keeps going up by a couple inches. That sort of fits the mold of the athletes are continually getting better. But again, like the world long jump record fell at the 1968 Olympics in New Mexico City when Bob Beeman broke the record. And if you haven't watched this video, you should go watch this on YouTube. It's one of the greatest videos on the internet. So to put this in perspective, ridiculous. Bob Beeman jumps so far, he jumps almost out of the pit, and the measurement stick only goes to 28 feet. So they're trying to find another one to get him past.
Add on. Yeah.
He also, they're in Mexico City, and he's an American. He doesn't know what the metric measurements are. So they announce it in meters over the thing, but he doesn't know what the thing is. So he's walking around till finally one of his teammates runs up to him and says, hey, like the adjusted thing, you just long jumped like 28 feet, 11 inches. Like you just broke the world record by 2 feet. Like more than 2 feet. The emotion overcomes Bob Beeman so much that he falls on the ground. He has like an episode, and he's overcome by what he has just done. The reason I think, though, they're so horizontal, here's my two thoughts. I think that one reason why the horizontal jumps have been sort of more long-standing is for so long, the best sprinters also long jumped. Carl Lewis being a great example of that.
Interesting.
Because being able to run down the plane fast and then take off. Now they don't long jump. Like Usain Bolt could probably long jump pretty far. He can run pretty fast, and he's got the long.
Probably.
But we don't know how far. You know what I mean? So I think that's one part of it. And then the other part is just how it goes with a lot of different elements of sport. For so long, the Olympics were the most prestigious sport. Like before the rise of professional sports, like if you're talking pre-World War II, the Olympics was the most prominent sporting event in the world.
Agreed.
And Jesse Owens was the greatest athlete in the world because he was the multiple-time gold medal Olympian.
Absolutely.
Now, just because of sort of our American way of thinking about things, we often think of guys like Michael Jordan and LeBron James and whoever else, insert NFL players here. And so then I also wonder how many guys could have been the greatest long jumper or triple jumper in the world and they just play in the NBA instead. Or they play wide receiver for Cincinnati Bengals or something. You know what I mean? So I think there's some stuff there too. It's just really interesting to look at all of this stuff.
Yeah, it is, and I'm happy that the Olympics are back, my friend.
Nuanez now ESPN Radio. Rajiv Seabrook kicking it with me, Colter Nuanez.
Let's go.
What's your so? First of all, you're obviously a Summer Olympics guy as opposed to a Winter Olympics guy. I love the Summer Olympics. The Winter Olympics are fine. There's some stuff that I like, but when it comes to, I think that the Summer Olympics are just the best. Track and field, gymnastics, swimming, love it. What's your favorite Summer Olympics event? What are you most looking forward to in August?
Okay, a couple of like, I like the odd ones. I like, believe it or not, things like ping pong.
Oh, dude.
The European handball thing. Like,
yeah.
That,
Some of those Korean handball or ping pong guys are just crazy.
Crazy. I think Olympic boxing is really fun because of the shortened rounds. Like, it's a flurry of just a ton of energy. I like fencing.
Good one.
That stuff is, I think, I'm just fascinated by the, sports I absolutely know nothing about and have to wake up at 2:00 in the morning to watch on ESPN. And I'll be honest, like weird things like synchronized swimming.
Sure.
It's super cool.
No, it's super cool.
Like you want to sit there and do all of that in gallons of water and not miss a beat. Like I can barely dance out of water. These people are doing it like floating in 12 feet of water. It's amazing.
You sent me this great video. It's like the 10.
Did you like that?
The 10 moments of determination in Olympic history.
It's amazing.
Everything from like the first one. I never heard of that very first one. Number 10. The guy, I think he was from an African country. I can't remember which country, but he was a fill-in basically. He had only learned how to swim.
It was like 6 months. He didn't know how to swim.
He learned how to swim in 6 months,
yeah.
And then in his qualifying heat, the other two guys got disqualified. So he knew he could advance and like score his team points by just finishing this race that he had literally never done. I can't remember what the race was, but the world record in the race was less than a minute, and it took him like 3 minutes to do it. But he gets this standing ovation. I mean, because that's the thing is like, there's very few sports in which you're trying it and you can die. You can definitely die if you don't know how to swim because you can just drown. And like
quickly too.
To have this guy learn how to do this and then qualify and move on to the Olympics. It's a great video. Go Google it. I won't go through all of them, but I mean you have all these sweet moments, including I thought Carrie Shrug would be number one when she lands the vault on the compound fracture in her leg to help Team USA win gold in Atlanta in 1996. That was number 2. Number 1's the famous and unforgettable video of Derek Redmond, who was the United Kingdom 400-meter runner, and halfway through the 400-meter race, he tears his hamstring, he falls on the ground, he's crying, but then he's determined to finish the race, but he can't walk. So his dad comes out of the stands, and like the officials at first are like, you can't be on the track, and then like, well, the dude already got last. Like, let's let this guy help him out, and his dad carries him across the finish line. It's a really cool moment, and that was a really cool video. Other great Olympic moments that I thought of from the past. First of all, I had this very unique Olympic watching experience in 2008, which I think is like perhaps I would say it's the greatest Olympics of like the 21st century. The 2008 Olympics in Beijing featured so many like iconic all-time moments. Of course, Usain Bolt under the lights in front of 120,000 people, shattering the 100-meter record. But my experience was so unique because I was fighting fires that summer, and I was on a night crew up in Elmo, and so we were working all night. But then one of the gals on my fire crew had a little lake shanty. I wouldn't even call it a cabin. It was like a lean-to. We would go hang out at her place with our tents, but she had a TV. So we weren't working during the day, so we would just go jump in the lake, come back, watch some Michael Phelps, jump in the lake, come back, take a nap, and then go work on the fires at night. So I watched the whole thing. I watched the entire Olympics, but that was pretty unforgettable because I do think that probably two of the greatest male American Olympians are Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt. And Bolt, obviously a Jamaican.
I was going to say, it made no sense whatsoever.
Two of the great male Olympians, period, regardless of country of origin. And they were both in the same Olympics. So
yeah, amazing. I have my top 10.
Let's go. I can't wait.
All right. In no particular order, or no, actually there is order. Starting with number 10. A lot of people don't know about this guy, but my man Frank Kugler, 1904 Olympics, only Olympian at the time to medal in three different, not events, but three different sports.
Different sports.
Whoa. Three different sports. So freestyle wrestling,
whoa,
which is crazy. He also medaled then in the team tug of war, which used to be an Olympic event, and then the one-arm dumbbell press, whatever it was back then in the 1904, back in the long time ago, but still very impressive to be then at the only one to do it in three different sports. Remember, that's different than three different events.
Frank Kugler, don't forget the name.
Oh yeah, Greg Louganis. At number 9.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't remember, that was like one of the
amazing.
It was an unforgettable moment, and then it was like shrouded by controversy afterwards too, because he hit his head on the diving board.
Yep.
This was in the late '80s. It's in Seoul, Korea, 1988, and then this was like right at the height of the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm right. Did he have HIV or he?
I think he was later diagnosed.
He was later diagnosed.
Yeah.
There was something about though where people were like freaking out. Is there blood on the board? Is there blood on the water? What's going on? But then he comes back and he wins the gold. And yeah, that's a pretty unforgettable moment too. All right, what else you got?
Number 8, Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Multiple times over.
Dude, number 7, Matt Biondi. Number 6, Jesse Owens. Number 5, Mark Spitz.
Mark Spitz is a really good one.
Number 4, Carl Lewis. Number 3, Simone. Number 2, Alex Felix. Can't sleep on that sister.
Allison Felix is awesome. And she'll make a return again this year.
Only U.S. female track athlete to win 6 gold medals. She can't beat that, man. Come on.
And this is her, I believe, is this her third or is this her fourth Olympics? Fourth is unprecedented for track athletes. Because to be in 4, even if you start when you're a teenager, you're still in your mid-30s by the time.
It's got to be her third. There's no way, either which way.
I mean, she was in the midst of the training process leading up to this while she was pregnant. I mean, this girl is an absolute beast and one of the great track athletes ever in American history.
And then Phelps at number 1.
Yeah, Phelps is certainly, I think, unquestionably the GOAT of American Olympians. A couple other memorable moments. I mean, of course, I'll always remember the 100-meter final is my favorite event, period. Maybe in all of sports. I just love for it. I live for it. And when Usain Bolt was doing it, he was the most electric. He was the most electric athlete in the world at that exact moment. And it's so fun to watch. I also never forget the 96 Olympics in Atlanta, because that was the first Olympics in America in my conscious life. And Muhammad Ali lighting the torch,
which was amazing.
And then you had the terrible bombing and everybody's freaking out, but then they got that all figured out. The security was good. Mm-hmm. Michael Johnson and his performances in that Olympics. Amazing. I mean, that was really, really cool. And then the other ones I wrote down from non-American memories. Kelly Holmes, when she won the 800 and the 1500 meters, that's never been done. That's not a double dip that people even attempt to do. She was like a late entry because they had a late scratch for the United Kingdom in the 800 meters, and then she wins the gold. Like, how does that even happen? It's one of the most grueling races in all of track, and she did it. When Grant Hackett from Australia won the men's 1500-meter freestyle in swimming with a collapsed lung in front of his home crowd, and his mom was crying, that was an all-time great one. And then when Matt Steiner, the German weightlifter, he broke the world record in the clean and snatch. His wife had passed away a year earlier, and he had told her on her deathbed that he would win the gold medal for her. And then he does it, does the clean and snatch, and he falls to the ground. He just crumbles into just a puddle of emotion, and it's just it's such a cool video. So,
dude, that just made me well up. I don't know why.
If you watch the video, the video, you will cry. I'm telling you, you will cry. This is what's great about YouTube. The Olympics has this excellent YouTube channel. So you go to the Olympics and then you just search like top 10 whatever, and it'll just give you like 10 videos, and they're all like 5 minutes long. You sent me one earlier.
Yeah, they're really good.
Super quick to watch. You should go check them out. Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. Keep those texts coming in. Free coffee, Florence Coffee Company, 406-888-1029. We'll talk some NBA and we'll talk some juxtaposition of the Dream Teams. Who's better? Dream Team 1, Dream Team 2? What do we think of this year's Team USA? All of it next. Keep it right here. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.
Come hit the links and support your Montana Grizzly hockey team at the 3rd Annual Grizz Hockey Golf Scramble on June 29th at the University of Montana Golf Course. A shotgun start is scheduled for 9 a.m. with a catered lunch to follow play at 2. The cost is only $350 per foursome, which includes greens fees, a cart, beverages, lunch, along with Grizz Hockey swag. Visit grizzhockey.com today to register your foursome. It's the 3rd Annual Grizz Hockey Golf Scramble, June 29th at the University Golf Course.
Do you get your car washed more than once a month? Of course you do, because you treat your car like it deserves to be treated. If you love having a clean car, you need an unlimited car wash package from Dazzlers. For $37 a month, you can get the most deluxe, thorough, efficient car wash anywhere in the city of Missoula. Basically, after your second car wash of the month, the rest are free. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated and save money while doing it at Dazzlers Car Wash of Missoula. Dazzlers Car Wash located on Radio Way off of North Reserve in the Garden City.
Get ready, Montana. Place bets on your favorite teams and games, both collegiate and professional, with Sportsbet Montana. With over 500 locations statewide, it's never been easier to get in on the action. Choose from spreads, money lines, parlays, and more. Excitement? You bet. Action? You bet. Winning? You bet. Visit sportsbetmontana.com or download the app now. Sportsbet Montana, Montana's exclusive sportsbook.
You hear the term small business all the time, but what does it mean? The answer is, it depends. Whether you're a one-woman show or employ over 100 people, at Farmer State Bank, your business is never small to us. Find the tools for success at any Farmer State Bank location or check us out online at farmersebank.com. Farmer State Bank, helping businesses succeed since 1907. Member FDIC.
The Missoula Community Foundation would like to thank everyone who participated in Missoula and Bitterroot Gives, our annual Community Giving Day. Together, we supported over 200 local nonprofits that helped to make our community a great place to live, work, and play.
Thanks to the support of more than 4,000 donors, our community supported over 200 local nonprofits, raising over $1.3 million.
If you missed Missoula Gives on May 2nd and 3rd, there is still time to contribute and take part. Learn more and give at missoulagives.org.
Missoula City Band is excited to announce its summer concert series, carrying on a tradition of free, open-air concerts that has lasted over a century. Every Wednesday evening at the Bonner Park Band Shell from June 12th to August 7th. Supported by the City of Missoula and talented local musicians, the Missoula City Band series will commence with a preseason Missoula Big Band event on June 12th, followed by weekly performances featuring the City Band and guest soloists. Feel free to bring chairs and immerse yourself in the delightful music and refreshing ambiance that makes summer in Missoula truly special.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
On the very last jump of her high school career, Ava Kellenberg had the leap of a lifetime. Hello, I'm Andrew Houghton. At the Class AA State Track and Field Championship meet in Great Falls, Kellenberg, a senior at Missoula Sentinel, soared 40 feet and 8 inches in the triple jump, shattering the all-class record held by former Spartan standout Lauren Hagen since 2019. The epic jump broke Hagen's old mark by nearly a foot. Kellenberg is headed to UCLA next season. At the Class A meet in Laurel, Olivia Lewis also had an unforgettable performance to smash another all-class state record. The Corvallis senior dynamo ran 41.86 seconds in the 300-meter hurdles to obliterate the former all-class record, which has been held since 2013 by former Missoula Sentinel and Washington State standout Liz Harper. Lewis's effort helped the Corvallis girls cruise to their second straight title, and Lewis, who is headed to Montana State next year, won gold medals in the 100 hurdles and the 400 meters as well. The Corvallis boys also took home the Class A state title over the weekend. Wyatt Miles shattered the Class A state record in the shot put, heaving the weight 60 feet, 9.5 inches to help the Blue Devils edge Whitefish by 1.8 points. The Jefferson County boys won the Class B state title for the 4th year in a row. Dalton Noble, who will play football at Montana State next year, led the way by winning the shot put and placing 3rd in the discus.
This ESPN MT Sports Center is brought to you by the King Ranch Golf Course.
1, 2, 3. Nuanez now on ESPN Radio.
The theme today is the original version of very many of the best rap songs that you loved over the years, but the actual song that they sampled. Because sometimes those songs just don't get a bunch of love. Most of these that are on here I knew were samples, but there's a couple surprises coming up.
I have a playlist I'm going to share with you on Spotify. Has over 100 songs on there.
Yeah.
And it's the original of every hip hop.
Yes,
and
I love
it's
it.
like, and then, yeah, it's so incredible.
Some you know, and then some you just had no idea.
Here's what I love about hip hop, and anyone that knows me knows that I love hip hop, and I think it's one of the most unique forms of expression because, as I said before, it's the only form of music that pays homage to the generations before it through sampling.
Yep.
But it's also one of the few, if not only, that allows you access to genres you may not know about.
Sure.
Like when I listen to certain, like, I love De La Soul, and they sampled Liberace. Like, if you don't,
Awesome.
if you know, I grew up in a musical family, so I know who Liberace was.
Sure.
But like, if you don't know who Liberace is, like, there's a gateway into learning who that person is. Here's a gateway into learning who Frank Sinatra is.
Right.
Here's a gateway into learning who Muddy Waters is. Here, you know,
Right,
or
right,
Bing Crosby, so on and so forth. And I love the fact that you're reversing the album, so to say, and allowing the originators to show who is being paid homage to on Freestyle Fridays.
I love it. Rajiv Seabrook kicking it with me, Colter Nuanez, here on Nuanez Now. ESPN Radio, time for some NBA talk. First of all, one thing I've been really meaning to give a shout out to that I haven't.
Your mama. When's the last time you gave your mom a shout out?
Hi, Mom. Thanks for listening. The Dallas Mavericks are into the NBA Finals after absolutely drubbing the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. I'm unsurprised with the end result, but I was surprised a little bit by how much the Timberwolves just laid over and died, especially at home, with a chance to extend the series. It was almost like they were sort of satisfied with just not getting swept. They didn't care that it was a gentleman's sweep, and they didn't care that they got this boat raced on their home court. So that was a little bit frustrating. Thought the Mavs were going to win this series, especially after taking a 3-0 lead. How could you not? More on that in just a minute. But the Dallas Mavericks, their general manager is Nico Harrison, and he was an outstanding player at Montana State. He was a first team, All Big Sky player on Montana State's 1996 Big Sky Conference championship team that went to the NCAA tournament. I put this on Twitter last night, but I think it's pretty cool that Montana State, that 96 team, included Nico Harrison, who then rose up the ranks and became an elite executive at Nike and now is the GM of the Dallas Mavs, as well as Danny Sprinkle, who's the head coach at the University of Washington. We're talking like two of what? Like the 1,000 most influential guys in the world of basketball right now? Like, it's pretty cool that they're teammates in Montana and that they remain great friends. For those that don't really know much about the Nico Harrison story, not only was a great player at Montana State, and of course he's getting a lot of love right now for being the GM of the Mavs. He got a lot of criticism when he traded for Kyrie Irving because a lot of people thought, well, what are you doing? Why are you... Somebody called him on my Twitter timeline, World Be Flat. I thought that was a hilarious nickname for him. But anyways, Kyrie had been a team and a coach killer ever since he sort of split ways with LeBron James. LeBron had Kyrie sort of wrangled a little bit, and Kyrie obviously hit that big shot to help the Cavs win the finals. But then he was maligned for a long time, but now he's back at it, and he's been a great, second banana to Luka Doncic for sure. And now the Mavs are in the finals. So what looked like a bad move by Nico Harrison has turned into a really good move. They've also, built well through the draft. The P.J. Washington signing has hit. Derek Lively has been, a great addition as a rookie. The other part I think that Nico Harrison doesn't get enough credit for, though, is he had a huge influence in the world of basketball behind the scenes. Between Montana State and taking this job with the Mavs, he was this top executive at Nike. People forget that when Kobe Bryant first rose to prominence, coming out of high school and becoming the superstar in the NBA, Kobe was an Adidas guy originally. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not all about your shoe contract, but Nico Harrison was the guy who got Kobe Bryant to come over to Nike. And then Nico Harrison was one of Kobe Bryant's confidants. He was one of his great friends. So it's just cool there's a guy with Montana ties that is, sat at the table with some of the best of the best. I mean, Kobe Bryant's one of the greatest players of all time, and Nico Harrison was right there with him. A lot of the steps during his journey, and now he's right there with this Mavs team who has, I think, regardless of what you think of Kyrie Irving and his antics and his beliefs and all that, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And Luka Doncic, after this last performance, he's absolutely a Hall of Famer too. I know he's only 24 years old, but I mean, this dude's already been first-team All-NBA 6 times. He's knocking on the door of being the best player on the earth right now. And if they win the championship, I think there's no question about it. So it's just kind of cool there's a Montana tie there on the Dallas Mavs. Back to what happened last night. Our NBA talk presented in part by Red's Bar. Red's Bar, an institution of Missoula. Great place to watch the NBA. They had a sports bet machine down there. They also just have a friendly crowd. So if you want to go watch the game somewhere, make some new friends, Red's Bar, downtown Missoula on Ryman Street. I guess we'll start with the successful part of this, and then we'll get on the Timberwolves for sort of just completely rolling over and dying. But
proceed, brother.
I mean, how about just the level that Luka Doncic has reached? I mean, he's been one of the best players in the NBA for 5 years now, but he has reached a level that very few players literally ever have gotten to. I mean, when he's in the zone down the stretch in these games, he looks truly unstoppable. And there's very few players ever that have looked like that. Even LeBron James has only flirted with that a little bit in his career. He's such a facilitator and all this. Luka's a great facilitator too, but like in these big moments, in the first quarter last night and the fourth quarter last night, Luka Doncic looked like there's not one person in the history of basketball that could have stopped him. It's pretty crazy the level he's gotten to.
It's that, and just the swagger that he has with it is he's a different cat.
Yeah,
man.
What do you think of the way he carries himself? Because I mean, he's a dog competitor. There's no doubt about it. He also
salty.
He also complains so much, and it's so annoying. But he also manipulates the refs in the game as well as any player in the whole league.
Oh, dude, it's like watching Euro Soccer League out there on the basketball court. Like, you want to throw up red or yellow cards or whatever the color cards are. I'm not a soccer dude. Sorry, Andrew. But, I mean, his dramatic flair adds something to the game in a different way. His bravado. But then when you just look at his skill set and his talent level, like, the dude's nice.
For sure.
He's nice.
So nice.
And when, like, if he were to walk into a gym today, like, you wouldn't, if you didn't know basketball, he looks like some regular cat.
Except for 6'9", but yes.
I mean, I know what you mean.
I know what you mean.
Height, yeah,
I know what you mean.
You look at his face and you're like, yeah, whatevs, dude. And then he lights you up for like 35 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he's legit. And I love his game. I there's something about him that I like, and I like the fact that he's doing it at a market at like Dallas as well. So yeah, good on him. Good for him.
When it comes to the T-Wolves, they were the darlings of the league like 2 weeks ago after beating the defending champs. They ousted the Nuggets in Denver in Game 7, which a lot of people thought they couldn't do. And when they won that Game 7, I think a lot of people were anointing them champions of the Western Conference and even champions of the NBA. Then it didn't go that way.
Wrong.
At all. So, I mean, where are we at with the way that the T-Wolves kind of faded from the pack?
Andrew, you and Andrew had a great conversation about this yesterday when I was listening to the show, and I'm going to bring it back almost 24 hours. The two key factors that you both spoke on were relevant last night. Anthony Edwards was exhausted.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, he started the game looking like someone gave him a Benadryl milkshake. Right? And then the second part is, if he's tired and your whole offense funnels and flows through and to him, and everyone else is just kind of waiting to be performative, if you will, off of what his abilities are, was again, it was everywhere last night on the court. So I think, giving both you and Andrew credence to your words and your insight, to me, those were the two biggest factors. And then just the lack of experience across the board of understanding the lights under which you're playing.
Right.
Like there's someone else needed to say, okay, we got the boy wonder. I need to prop this dude up.
Right.
I need to bust out for 15 and 9 right now. And Minnesota just didn't have that dude.
I was thinking about this last night because, one of the best parts about following the NBA, talking about the NBA is the constant comparisons. Who's legacy, who's this, who's that, who's the next this guy, who's the next that guy, who's the evolutionary version of this guy. It makes it fun. I think a lot of that stuff's sometimes unfair, but it does make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony Edwards has sort of unfairly been pinned as like the guy who's going to be the next Michael Jordan because he looks like Michael Jordan. Their body types are similar. They got the same smile. Okay. And I get it. It's also just like they came out 40 years apart. So like there's so many different circumstances that just go into it, right? Like if you're trying to compare Jordan at 22 to Anthony Edwards at 22, well, Anthony Edwards was already in year 4. Michael Jordan was only in his first year in the NBA because he back then you didn't. Anthony Edwards only went to college for 1 year. Jordan went for 3. I'm not in here to get into the Anthony Edwards Michael Jordan debate though. What I was thinking about is that people don't realize that basically across the board, young, really, really young players and young teams, they do not win the whole thing ever in the NBA. I was trying to think of a team that's best player or players were like 22 or younger. Anthony Edwards is 22. That were like 23 or 22 or younger that ever even made a run. And there's only one team I could think of, and that was the Oklahoma City Thunder when Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were still young bucks. Some people would argue, though, that run when Harden, Westbrook, and Durant went to the finals when they were all under 25, that actually ruined their franchise. It didn't ruin their franchise. It ruined that team for a moment in time because they all.
How old were Peyton and Sean Kemp?
Well, they'd both been in the league. Sean Kemp was a rookie in 1989. So they went to the finals. That would have been year 7 for him.
Okay. I'm just
Peyton
trying to.
Was in year 5.
I'm just trying to think of dudes that were young, that one's hard.
That's what people don't realize, though. Tim Duncan was very
Duncan was young
in his career, but he was older because he went to college for 4 years.
Iverson in the Sixers.
Iverson had been in the league for when they went to the finals in 2003 or 4
years?
He was a rookie in 99. No, he's a rookie in 97. Yeah. So he'd been in the league for a while.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm just trying to think. That's
Michael Jordan, for example, did not make it to the NBA Finals until he was 28 years old.
Correct.
You can go on down through the annals. So many different players, they don't get there till their late 20s or early 30s because it's not a uber young man's league. It is in the regular season. It's not in the playoffs. And this is the point I'm trying to convey when it comes to the T-Wolves. People are saying, well, how's the young guy, how's the 22-year-old guy out of gas? It's not because he's not in shape. He's one of the greatest athletes in the world right now. He just doesn't know how to manage it. You don't learn how to manage it until you've done it a couple times. That's the whole thing.
I liken energy to money. You don't know how to manage money or manage energy until you lost it. You don't know how to manage money until you lose it. You know how to manage your energy till it's all burnt out. And then you kind of come back to say, all right, I can't run this 40, the 1800 like I run the 100.
Right.
You got to learn how to marathon yourself.
You also it's tried and true again. And this is the part that gets left out of the Michael Jordan narrative, right? Everybody always says, well, Jordan never lost. Jordan won the finals 6 times in 8 years. And, the only 2 times he didn't win it was when he was playing baseball. You're leaving out the whole first 8 years of his career. He didn't start doing that until he had been in the NBA
for a really
long time, right?
Yeah.
But that's part of it. A lot of times you have to have that. That's what makes the sort of the legacy building so great. You have to have these moments where you lose. I think that's why so many people put so much stock in the Timberwolves when they won in Denver, though, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, these guys have arrived. They just beat the defending champs on their home court. Maybe they have an accelerated sort of pace. Maybe they don't have to go through the hard times of losing, and now it's come back around that they do. They do.
It'd be one of the best things to ever happen to him.
No doubt.
How old was Giannis?
Giannis, I believe he was probably 25.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Okay.
It's definitely a good one.
I'm trolling, baby. I'm not, and folks I'm not trying to rebuke or retort or retaliate against my man Coulter. It's just for good radio to kind of break up numbers and stats and stuff and gives you something to think about.
For sure. My mom texted, she says the Golden State Warriors were very young. It's a good point, Mom, but Steph Curry was a rookie in 2009. They won their first championship in 2015. So it still took
6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
People forget that the Golden State Warriors were a good but not great team when Mark Jackson was their coach.
Correct.
Then they got Steve Kerr. They drafted Klay Thompson, and it sent it to the stratosphere. Kerr was the one that unlocked, the super lineup where you put Draymond Green in and play him on the ball with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Before that, the Warriors were kind of just sitting there toiling. They thought David Lee was one of their guys instead of Steph Curry.
How old was Rip Hamilton and guys like Tayshaun Prince with the Pistons?
Those
they were
guys
young.
were all, they were late 20s though still.
Gosh, okay, they just, you know what it is? I was an old man. So they to me, it's those young whippersnappers.
Think Tayshaun Prince was on the 96 Kentucky team that won the championship. Mm-hmm. That Detroit team that won was in 04. So he'd been in the league for 8 years.
That's nuts.
Sheed had been in in the league since 93. He was on the North Carolina 93 championship team. He'd been in the league for like 10.
That's true.
Chauncey Billups was
That's
97
nuts.
was Chauncey Billups' rookie year. 98, where Rip Hamilton was on that UConn team that won it.
Folks, do you listen? The information, the cornucopia, the fountain of sports facts coming out of this man's cranium and his dome is amazing. I want to kiss your brain.
I'm way better at the stuff that was happening when I was a kid. I don't remember the stuff as well like lately. I can't rattle off these draft years over the last 10 years.
You know what I used to be able to do? Like on Monday Night Football, when the guys would come up, they would be like, so-and-so, and I'd be
Florida State.
And I'd be able to name, and I would be able to name off their high schools, what their mama's name is. And Mama knew was listening. I hope I got the shout out to her.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you want to know, part of it is the sports cards, right? Because when you're a kid, you're just looking at your sports cards and you're just memorizing the whole thing.
Because you have nothing else to do.
That's right.
You ain't got no job, no mortgage, can't pick no kids up from soccer.
More on the NBA in hour number 2. I want to talk a little bit more about this matchup between the Celtics and the Mavs. We'll have plenty of time to do it because it doesn't start till June 6th. We have almost a week off till the NBA Finals begins, but should be a good one. Back into the world of track and field, we'll highlight some of the best performances from around the Garden City in our Garden City Spotlight. On the other side, Rajim Seabrook, Colter Nuanez, Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.
I call myself a confident backseat driver. Mom, brakes, please.
Gotcha.
But I'm less confident in the economy.
Same here, buddy.
Thankfully, Les Schwab Tires helps make sure that our safety never takes a backseat, even when we're watching our wallets.
Roll into summer. Save up to $200 instantly on a wide selection of tires and wheels. Les Schwab Tires. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Details at leschwab.com/sale.
Ready to dive into some sizzling deals? This weekend only, Mountain Hot Tub is hosting a spectacular pop-up sale at the Ravalli County Fairgrounds. Don't miss out on their lowest prices of the year. Check out unique one-of-a-kind spas, 2023 demo models, and a wide selection of refurbished hot tubs with prices starting at just $19.95. These deals won't last long. Hurry in to meet the Mountain Hot Tub team and find the spa of your dreams. Sale starts Thursday, May 23rd at 10 a.m. Mountain Hot Tub at the Ravalli County Fairgrounds. They can't wait to see you there.
If you're looking for health care that offers primary care, preventative care, chronic condition management support, and care coordination tailored for seniors with same-day and next-day appointments, look no further than Greater Good Health. Greater Good Health is accepting new patients with Medicare insurance and can see you as soon as tomorrow. Conveniently located in the Northgate Plaza on North Reserve, Greater Good Health knows the importance of access to care. So call 406-412-7020 or visit greatergoodhealth.com to book your appointment.
Conflux Tap House is the perfect downtown hang where you can kick back and enjoy good times. Not only do they have a delicious menu, Conflux has a variety of drink options too. So whether you're in the mood for something refreshing, sophisticated, or fun, Conflux has got you covered with beer, wine, and handcrafted cocktails like the Georgia Julep with bourbon, peach, lemon, and muddled mint. At Conflux Tap House, you can explore a world of possibilities in every glass. At Conflux Tap House, where great food, brews, and community converge.
The King Ranch Golf Course isn't just for golf enthusiasts. You're invited to host your next event at their spacious venue that offers picturesque Clark Fork River scenery. A dining room perfect for showers, birthday parties, reunions, or company parties. Planning a wedding? There's a large outdoor venue space and luxurious Airbnb Stonehouse for accommodations. For more information about leagues, season, or daily fees, or to reserve a beautiful venue, give the King Ranch Golf Course a call, 406-626-4000.
Hey, what's up, Montana? Colter Nuanez from Nuanez Now, your favorite daily sports talk show. I know a great many of you listen to the show during your evening drive time between 4 and 6 p.m. right here on 102.9 ESPN Missoula, but sometimes you might not get to listen to the entire show. That's okay. We've got you covered. You can always find Nuanez Now in its totality on all of your favorite podcast hosting platforms. The Nuanez Now podcast is probably presented by the M Store, Schulte Law Firm, and the Montana State Bookstore.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Hey girl, ain't no mystery. At least, as far as I can see.
We're always talking underrated, overrated around here. We're always on Gladys Knight and the Pips because they are so underrated. But the Isley Brothers are so unbelievably underrated.
Give me some hand love right now.
Dude,
dap you up on that one, son.
For sure.
Within that same range, so are the Neville Brothers.
Oh, I love the Neville Brothers.
And hopping genre, so are the Allman Brothers.
Oh, I love the Allman Brothers.
Why are the Allman Brothers so undersold?
I don't know, man. When Dickie Betts died a couple weeks ago, we played Allman Brothers for 3 straight days.
Dude,
they are so good.
Undersold.
The Neville Brothers, man. I haven't listened to the Neville Brothers in a minute, dude.
I'm going to be whistling down Reserve Street tonight,
I know,
son.
I am. I'm definitely going to put on my Brother's Keeper. That album is so good. They're awesome, man. I love the Neville Brothers. Good one.
Yeah.
The Isley Brothers, though, if you haven't watched The Tiny Desk, go watch it.
Oh,
these guys are got to be in their late 70s, and they are still just rolling, dude.
Silky.
They are so,
silky.
The bass playing,
silky.
And, man, they're unbelievable musicians. Welcome back to Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Time now for our Garden City Spotlights presented by Missoula Electric Co-op. Missoula Electric Co-op has been providing power to Montanans and people in Idaho for more than 100 years. Take a look at some of the best individual track performances from Missoulians. We talked a lot about the state record holders, and there's a couple that are one and the same, including Ava Kellenberg, who joined us yesterday. She's the new all-class record holder in the triple jump. She also smashed the Western AA divisional meet record in the long jump. She also quietly had the 4th best high jump mark in the state this year, so she's outstanding. She's headed to UCLA. Also got to highlight Emily McElmurray. She was overshadowed a little bit by Kellenberg because they're both on the Sentinel Spartans. And McElmurray, she's such a great athlete in track. She also is an awesome basketball player. She's headed to Eastern Washington. So to be Division I in 2 different sports is a rare thing, and she certainly has that. But she ended up with the 4th best long jump mark in AA and the 2nd best triple jump mark. If she wasn't in the same class as Kellenberg, she would have won state in triple jump for sure. She also was quietly one of the best hurdlers in the state, 3rd best time in AA. So congratulations to those 2 Sentinel ladies, 2 of the best in the state in their respective events. Also, one thing we hadn't highlighted much yet because we were talking so much about the dominance of the Helena High girls as a team, led by the Todorovich sisters. Logan joined us on Tuesday. She's bound for Baylor. Unreal athlete. She scored 58 points at the AA meet. Her sister Madeline scored 40-plus points. They would have won the meet themselves, just those 2, but they also had teammates, so they ran away with it. But the Hellgate girls ran away with 2nd place. They had a lot of really good performances led by Sophia Miller. She ended up as the state champion in the 800 meters. She also got on the podium in the 400 meters, so great year for her. Caitlin Skinner, the state champion in the mile, and also was a top 3 finisher in the 800. And Landy Anderson, even though she didn't win the state title in the pole vault, she has the top state mark in AA, the only girl this year to go over 12 feet. You also got to highlight Alex Mund, who's bound for Boise State. That's how good the horizontal jumps were in AA track and field this year. Alex Mund is going to Boise State, and she got 4th in the triple jump. She's a D1 level jumper, and that's how many great triple jumpers and long jumpers there are in the state of Montana. So pretty impressive there. You also got to highlight Sophia Zolci, who had the 3rd best mark in AA in the 100 meters. On the boys' side, Sentinel had 3 different young men that finished with top 3 marks in the Class AA ranks. Hudson Lepke had the top mark in the 100 meters from the West. He got 2nd at state in the 100 meters because Ryan Deernfield was outstanding this year. He ran sub 10.6 multiple times, ran 10.88 at the state meet. So Lepke just had sort of the unfortunate circumstance of being in the same class as him because Lepke was breaking 11 seconds consistently, which is good enough to win the state championship most years, but he still had an outstanding career. Quinn Newman, same deal. He's in the same events as Nathan Neal. Nathan Neal just shattered the mile and 2-mile records, blew them out of the water, the Bozeman High senior did. Quinn Newman was 2nd best, though, in the 1,600 meters and had the 4th best time in the 3,200 meters in AA. And then Danny Sermon, a young man you coached.
Oh, yeah. I know Big D.
Same deal. I mean, any other year, Danny Sermon wins the discus running away with it. He's going over 180 consistently. He just happened to be in the same heat as Jack Murray and Aiden Krause, who both broke the all-class state record in the same discus semifinals and finals this last couple weekends. So, but a couple really good ones from the Spartan boys. And then for the Big Sky boys, Jacob Dolzal was the top performer. He had the 2nd best high jump in the state, went 6'6". Quinn Clark, the state champion, at 6'8". So there's some of your best Missoulians in the high school world of track and field. Our Garden City Spotlight presented by Missoula Electric Co-op. Hour 1 in the books, hour 2 coming at you. Dream Team 1 versus Dream Team 2. Celtics versus Mavericks. How will Boston react to the villain that is Luka Doncic? Plus, Smart and Dub, NFL win totals coming at you. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. ESPN Radio.
This is David Odell with the Missoula Symphony inviting you to Speakeasy Symphony, Friday, June 7th at the Doubletree Inn. This swanky event is sure to be a memorable one with dinner, dancing, a unique limited live auction, plus live jazz music. Speakeasy attire is encouraged for this themed event. Please join in the celebration. Speakeasy Symphony, Friday, June 7th at the Doubletree Inn.
Brought to you by season sponsor, The Good Food Store.
What's up, Missoula? This is Junior Bergen from your Montana Grizzlies. Did you know for just $31 a month, you can get unlimited car washes at Dazzlers? I always take my Jeep to Dazzlers. It's the most efficient and most thorough car wash in the entire city of Missoula. Download the new Dazzlers app for as little as $31 a month. You can get unlimited car washes. And for $37 a month, you can get the best car wash Dazzlers has available. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated at Dazzlers Car Wash in Missoula. It's the most efficient and most thorough car wash in the entire city of Missoula.
You've got a debit card and phone app. Does a brick and mortar bank really matter? You bet your boots it does. Step inside any one of our Farmer State Bank's 10 unique locations. Open a new account, apply for a loan, rent a safety deposit box, or arrange for the trip of a lifetime. Personal service and attention to detail, along with all the mobile and electronic services you've come to rely on. Farmer State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
The Glacier Ice Rink is closing for the summer, so your friends at Hockey Lacrosse Wolf are having their summer clearance As the Rink Melts sale. Enjoy store-wide savings May 31st through June 2nd. Come check out the new Bauer Fit Lab and get yourself professionally fitted into new skates. Take advantage of special savings on sticks, protective, goalie, and apparel. As the rink melts for the summer, load up on all your hockey for next season. See you May 31st through June 2nd for howling great savings at Hockey and Lacrosse Wolf.
It's time for the Montana Club Comfort Food and Game Day Drink Specials. Every Saturday and Sunday, the club's Grizzarita, Huckleberry Margarita, Caesars, and Bloody Marys are only $8. Pair them with custom grilled prime grade Montana Club steaks or a tender prime rib sandwich. And don't forget the cheese fries. Full menu at montanaclub.com. So get into the Montana Club today for an unrivaled flavor experience on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
If you don't have a high school diploma, life gets tough. Montana Youth Challenge Academy can help. We offer youth at risk of dropout the chance to turn their lives around through our intensive training program. Since 1999, thousands of young people have accepted the challenge to build positive futures. If you or a young person in your life is ready to accept the challenge, visit mycacademy.org. Brought to you by Montana Youth Challenge Academy, the Montana Broadcasters Association, and this station.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
On the very last jump of her high school career, Ava Kellenberg had the leap of a lifetime. Hello, I'm Andrew Houghton. At the Class AA State Track and Field Championship meet in Great Falls, Kellenberg, a senior at Missoula Sentinel, soared 40 feet and 8 inches in the triple jump, shattering the all-class record held by former Spartan standout Lauren Hagen since 2019. The epic jump broke Hagen's old mark by nearly a foot. Kellenberg is headed to UCLA next season. At the Class A meet in Laurel, Olivia Lewis also had an unforgettable performance to smash another all-class state record. The Corvallis senior dynamo ran 41.86 seconds in the 300-meter hurdles to obliterate the former all-class record, which has been held since 2013 by former Missoula Sentinel and Washington State standout Liz Harper. Lewis's effort helped the Corvallis girls cruise to their second straight title, and Lewis, who is headed to Montana State next year, won gold medals in the 100 hurdles and the 400 meters as well. The Corvallis boys also took home the Class A state title over the weekend. Wyatt Miles shattered the Class A state record in the shot put, heaving the weight 60 feet, 9.5 inches to help the Blue Devils edge Whitefish by 1.8 points. The Jefferson County boys won the Class B state title for the 4th year in a row. Dalton Noble, who will play football at Montana State next year, led the way by winning the shot put and placing 3rd in the discus.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Selway Armory. This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
I did know that those first two were samples. Notorious B.I.G. loves his samples. A lot of rap, hip-hop artists, very influenced by the sampling. But, I mean, P. Diddy and back when he was back when he was Puff Daddy, and Kanye West, they're some of the masters of the sampling. Dr. Dre is good at it too, but De La Soul for sure, yeah, King samplers for sure. I didn't know that one though. I did not know that Cream Wu-Tang was actually a sample. As Long as I've Got You by the Charmels.
Dude, old school. There's also a great sample with my favorite martial arts movie of all time, The Five Deadly Venoms. Whoa. The whole the whole opening scene it's like 18 Wu-Tang samples that are in the movie. It's so amazing. Like when you watch it, you're like, wait a second, why do I know that? And then all of a sudden, the RZA, the Jizza, you got Inspector Deck, Ghostface, and the rest.
Hip-hop history with Roger James Seabrook here on this Freestyle Friday. Appreciate you for tuning in. If you missed anything in the first hour of the show, you can always find it. Nuanez Now podcast. Probably presented by the M Store, located at the corner of Broadway and Higgins in Missoula. You can also shop online, MontanaMStore.com. The MSU Bookstore, best place for blue and gold on game day or any other day. Shop online, MSUBookstore.org. And Schulte Law Firm. Had a bad day? Been in a car accident that wasn't your fault? Visit jschultelaw.com. Got a little gift in the mail thanks to our friends up in on the Highlines from Claudia from up in Havre. Really appreciate it. Nice card came with it as well, but it's a bib for my little baby boy. I don't know where they could possibly even get this.
They probably had it personalized or made it themselves.
It says
customized,
I'm
rather.
Thinking about entering the transfer portal. So we're going to put this on Mickey G and see what he has to say. That's what we're calling our little boy for just a minute in time. You got to have nicknames. So gift for McCall from the Highline. Appreciate it. Thanks to Claudia and family for
such a wonderful thing.
For thinking of us. Yeah, very nice. Thank you so much.
Look at the people you touch.
Well, thanks, man. Sports is supposed to be what brings us all together.
Man, just sand sports. That's called human connection within the scope of sports. And I just take them tonight, man, when you're by yourself and the kids asleep and your wife has stopped bossing you around because you probably neglected to do something again. You touch someone enough they want to touch you back, man, and that's called human connection, folks. Yeah. Authentic engagements. Get back to it.
I love it.
Rehumanize each other. You might smile, laugh, and love something.
Well, thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Roger.
I love you, brother. Let's go,
bro. Okay, so we're gonna talk some NFL. We're gonna do some smart or dumb NFL win totals, but first, this is actually a debate that Regime proposed in our text thread earlier, and I love it. So
bring it.
I love books. I love sports books. I love sports books by great journalists. It's hard to say what's the greatest sports book of all time, although I have been rereading now for the third time Breaks of the Game because of the passing of the great Bill Walton. Yeah. Bill Walton's one of the central figures in Breaks of the Game. Bill Walton is one of the most beloved athletes in the history of America. It made me very sad that Bill Walton passed away, but I also thought, how happy I was that he existed. What a life well lived. I think we're sort of stuck in this conscious mind, especially as Americans now, if you die anytime before you're 85, people are thinking you died too young. And it's we all want to live as long as we can. We all want to be with each other as long as we can. But to live to 71
is amazing.
And have the amount of impact that Bill Walton did across the stratosphere. I mean, Bill Walton,
he was a cult icon.
He is one of the most prominent civil rights leaders in terms of non-African Americans in the history of this country. Bill Walton was fighting injustice long after it was sort of in vogue. Like, he was doing this all through the 70s and the 80s.
Very outspoken, very upstanding on a lot of issues.
And just such a humanistic person, right? Like, he wanted to connect with everybody. So it did.
Big Grateful Dead fan.
A lot of different bands fan. But, what an awesome life he lived. Breaks of the Game by David Halberstam, though, is one of the great sports books ever read. I'm bringing that up because I wanted to acknowledge that again this week. But I'm looking at my bookshelf. 2 doors down from Breaks of the Game on my bookshelf, I have the Dream Team book by Jack McCallum, which is
amazing
so
book.
good. The documentary that they made that stems from that book is awesome as well. And the Dream Team, I always talk about the tipping point, the Malcolm Gladwell theory of like what is the moment or the occurrence that made something happen, like the domino that falls that then makes this massive spider webbing of impact, either nationwide or globally. When the Soviet Union drubbed the United States in the gold medal game in 1988 in the Olympics in Seoul, Korea, that was the first step towards reaching the tipping point. Then, the United States Olympic Committee, they didn't want to get beat like that anymore. And they said, hey, there's this, very competitive Russian professional league. Guys like Arvydas Sabonis and Dazan Petrovic and all these guys.
Dudes.
These guys are,
dudes.
Are playing professionally. They're just not playing in the NBA. So we should be allowed to use our professional players if they're using theirs. Enter the Dream Team. So the Dream Team went to Barcelona in 1992. And, it was spun as the greatest conglomeration of talent that's ever been. For those that don't remember, of course, everybody knows that, Michael Jordan was on this team.
Magic
Johnson, Larry Bird. But here's the full roster. So Jordan, Magic, and Bird were all on the team as well. Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing, young David Robinson. Christian Laettner was the one collegian, but at that exact moment, you could make the argument that Christian Laettner was one of the 5 best college players of all time?
Period.
I mean, it's probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Pete Maravich, Bill Walton, and Christian Laettner. And those are probably like the Mount Rushmore of college players at that exact moment. And probably still today, honestly.
Caitlin Clark's on that now.
Well, for sure. Definitely. And there's several women. Probably Maya Moore deserves to be up there, too. But regardless, Laettner, the lone collegian. Then you had Clyde Drexler, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Chris Mullen, Charles Barkley. And so there's your 12-man roster. Chuck Daly, the coach, of course. And this team, they absolutely just destroyed
people.
Their way all the way through the Olympics. They won their opener against Cuba 136-57. Then they beat Canada 105-61. They beat Panama 112-52. They beat Argentina 128-87.
Stop the insanity, son.
Then they beat Puerto Rico 119-81. And in the gold medal game, they won by a whopping 47 points, 127-80 over Venezuela. So
filthy.
Average margin of victory of
a lot.
43 total points. Your question, though, was who would actually win if the 1992 Dream Team, and in its exact iteration, played against the 1996 Dream Team. 1996 Dream Team went to Atlanta and won gold. They also destroyed their competition, not quite as devastatingly, but certainly rolled. They won in the quarterfinals against Brazil 98-75. They won in the semifinals against Australia 101-73. And they won in the finals against Yugoslavia 95-69. But that team included Charles Barkley again, one of the only repeats on the team, Penny Hardaway before he got hurt, Grant Hill in his young prime, Karl Malone, again, another repeat, Reggie Miller, Hakeem Olajuwon, which is interesting that he was able because he's born in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
But he had American citizenship.
Don't know about that one.
Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal, young Shaq, Gary Payton, prime Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, a repeat, Mitch Richmond, David Robinson, and John Stockton, a repeat as well. So I think that the broad knee-jerk reaction would just be, well, duh, the 1992 Dream Team was the best team ever. They would roll the 1996 Dream Team. I'm thinking about, though, if you're just talking about these teams matching up against each other, because at this exact moment, like you're talking 92 Dream Team, Jordan has just made his rise. This is
Jordan wasn't playing basketball by the time the second Dream Team, he was playing baseball.
Sure, but so are we saying, though, we're taking the 92 team, we're playing them the 96 team? Are we saying
both their prime iterations?
Yeah, right. So the 92 team in 92 is playing the 96 team in 96, if that
yep.
time traveling could happen. So Jordan was reaching the peak of his powers, and that certainly like affirmed to the I think all of his peers that he had reached the peak of his powers. He's 29-year-old Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson was certainly in his prime still. He had won 3 out of 4 of the last NBA MVPs at this point, but he had had the whole thing with his HIV. He'd retired, but he'd come back out of retirement for this Olympics. But then you talk about some of the guys that are unequivocally all-time great players, but weren't quite as good by the like when this 92 team was rolling around. I specifically thinking about Larry Bird. Like Larry Bird was on his last legs playing for the Dream Team.
Facts.
He was very limited in terms of contributions. That version of Charles Barkley, though, is an insane one. I'd say Stockton is a draw. Like there's no better like the 92 and 96 version of John Stockton are same. Like Stockton is very much the same. I'd say the 96 version of Scottie Pippen was probably a step slower. I'm just thinking about the guys that are like
I like the across the board familial.
So Stockton's a draw. 92 Barkley's better than 96 Barkley. 92 Pippen is better than 96 Pippen.
Absolutely.
But then you get into how the matchups would go in this one, and I think
this is where the debate.
This is where it would come in.
This is where the conversation actually starts becoming a debate.
Because Patrick Ewing and David Robinson are both Hall of Famers. They are awesome, as is Karl Malone. I'd also say 92 Malone and 96 Malone is probably a draw.
That's
as well.
A wash for me.
Yeah, because Malone won an MVP the very next year after the 96 Olympics. So kind of same there. But you're talking about basically what this comes down to when you're debating this matchup is 29-year-old Patrick Ewing and 26-year-old David Robinson versus 24-year-old Shaq and 32-year-old Hakeem Olajuwon, right? I mean, there's only about 7 or 8 centers that are better than Patrick Ewing and David Robinson.
And 2 of them are...
But 2 of them are 2 of the 5 greatest centers of all time, maybe the 4 greatest centers of all time. I mean, I think the greatest center of all time is Kareem. Wilt. Shaq. Right? And then Olajuwon's got to be up there,
Absolutely. Man. Olajuwon and...
Especially this version of Olajuwon, too. Like, 96 Olajuwon might be the best player in the world at this exact moment.
Oh, dude, the years Jordan wasn't in the league, Olajuwon was the best player in the league.
He's the best player in the league, yeah.
Hands down. Even though he's not labeled as a center, Tim Duncan.
I'd say he's the power forward, though.
Okay.
I mean, I'm giving Timmy the nod as the greatest power forward of all time.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
So this comes down to, because I think that, like, if you're making these teams play, there's no way the original Dream Team can guard Shaq. That's where it starts.
There's no one on that team that can guard Jordan.
That's the other. The issue is this is like the mismatches for the 92 team in their favor are Jordan and Magic Johnson. The mismatches for the 96 team in their favor are Shaq and Hakeem.
Well, here's the other thing. I think
Gary Payton could take a run at guarding Jordan or at Magic, though.
You know what? Let's go back. Well, he can't guard them both.
That's right.
He can't guard them both, and Jordan showed Mr. the Glove in the finals who the man was, right?
The guy that got this debate going too, because of course he did, because he never ever shot something in his mouth is Reggie Miller.
Now,
Reggie's hilarious to think this, because he was talking about this. He's like, we would drill the original Dream Team. It's like,
Yeah, but they're big men. They have the advantage. Where else they have the advantage is actually long-range shoot. They have better shooters. Mitch Richmond, one of the better shooters. Reggie Miller, one of the better shooters. When you think of some of their shooting capability, the original Dream Team didn't have the best long-range shooters either. Like if you think about it like that, right? You start thinking about specialists within the game. They had better specialists than the original Dream Team. Defensively, I would say Jordan and Pippen are a better defensive duo than Pippen Peyton
and Grant Hill is a good defensive player.
Grant Hill was sick.
Grant Hill's an interesting matchup, man, because this is pre-injury Grant Hill. I mean,
Grant Hill was killing fools,
playing the 2, and
killing people.
That was a very unique thing back then.
Killing people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. So with all that being said, all of these things, who's the better team? Who wins?
Man.
And I'll give you a best of 5 series.
You have to go with Dream Team 1, only because they have 2 of the 5 best players ever, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. who are both still in their prime. And the thing about Magic is that somehow we've gotten to the point where Magic Johnson's underrated now, even though he's considered one of the greatest players ever. Because he's
severely underrated.
Because he's like not Michael Jordan, right?
Because he's an MJ, yeah. He's the other MJ.
Like Magic Johnson dominated for a longer time. Like he won a championship as a rookie in 1980 and then won the MVP 12 years later. Jordan had like an 8-year span where he dominated, certainly at a higher level than almost
There's
anybody.
a guy that won a chip under the age of 25 as a young
Magic Johnson, yeah. He wasn't the best player on his team, though.
I know. I'm just saying for the sake of conversation.
It's a great example.
Yep.
He just also happened to play with prime Kareem. Kareem was the best player in the world at that exact moment.
Ridiculous.
And also had James Worthy and
the big cat.
So, man, it just really comes down to like, can Jordan and Magic win their matchups more than how many points Shaq's going to score?
I'm going to say yes. And I'm also going to say that the fall-off from Jordan, who comes in behind him, dude, Clyde the Glide was nice.
Oh, for sure.
Like honestly, if Mike's not in the league, he's the number 2. He's the 2 guard of the league.
For sure.
Hands down.
No doubt.
So, like, to me, I love both teams, but I got to go with Dream Team 1.
I think I got to go with Dream Team 1.
You got to go with Dream Team 1.
Well.
To me, Shaq and Olajuwon are the huge X factors.
Oh, for sure. And you don't have to like really extrapolate that either.
Yeah.
Go watch the highlights. Like again, David Robinson and Patrick Ewing are great.
Oh yeah.
Go watch Olajuwon highlights on YouTube. Tell me how many of those are him just completely and utterly dicing David Robinson. Like it's embarrassing. Robinson was such a great athlete and he was such a great shot blocker. Hakeem's finesse just made David Robinson spin around like a top. Like the dream shake, David Robinson's just getting humiliated more than anybody else in the Olajuwon highlight tapes.
One of the best interviews I ever saw about giving respect to Olajuwon and talking about his talent is Kenny the Jet Smith.
Yes.
And he says that, during the practice that Olajuwon, Kenny's like, dude, how do you do what you do? He goes, Kenny, I study guards like you. I do what you do, but I just do it down here.
Right.
With my footwork.
It's really good.
And a lot of people don't understand too. Olajuwon was a soccer player.
For sure.
And like when you're that big, being a soccer player, you got to have good footwork.
Yeah.
Because guys are undercutting you at any juncture.
Yeah. Bill Simmons always he has great. First of all, he's one of the great historians of the game of basketball. That's why I really enjoyed listening to him.
Yes, absolutely.
But he was going through this the other day. He was calling it the World Championship belt of basketball, right? Who is the heavyweight champion of the game of basketball at any different iteration? And there's only been a collection of maybe 15 guys that have ever truly like held the belt, right?
He's one of them.
Like Charles Barkley, for as great as he is and as great as he was, Karl Malone's another great example. Those guys were never for one moment the best player in the NBA.
Nope.
Right? But Hakeem Olajuwon was the best player in the world.
Yep.
Right? So
oh yeah.
That
he's a dude.
It gives you a certain level of gravitas.
Yeah. Ask Shaq who the best center is.
For sure.
He gives the nod to dudes like Hakeem.
Well, Shaq, so Shaq says Shaq. But then Shaq would say that he is number 2 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's now ESPN Radio. Let's keep going on the NBA for a minute since we have a little bit of time here.
Proceed, my brother. Proceed.
So what do you think of this? I know you're not a betting guy. But
you gotta have money to bet. I ain't got any money. You give me some money, I'll go bet. It's that simple. You got some money, I'll go bet.
The Vegas sportsbooks though have the Celtics as like a pretty heavy favorite in this NBA Finals.
Oh man, I don't know
Andrew
about
and I were talking about this. The Celtics team, if you just look at the numbers, you're like, well, I understand why they're a heavy favorite. They went 64-18 in the regular season.
Yeah.
They only lost 5 games at home during the regular season. Then since the playoffs began, they've had a 5-game series, a 5-game series, and a 4-game series. So they're 14-2 in this playoff.
Steamrolling.
So you're adding it all up. I mean, that's a 78-20 team. So they basically won almost 80% of their games during a 100-game sample size to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it. Their margin of victory in both the regular season and the playoffs is historic.
It was ridiculous.
They have multiple superstars.
Absolutely.
And they have, the tradition of the Boston Celtics.
The mystique.
Like they have one of the best home court advantages in all of sports. They have all these different things.
Raucous town.
But when you watch the Celtics, there are so many times where you're like frustrated by them because sometimes they seem soft. And although Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both just unbelievably and so clearly talented, it seems that each one of them has a hard time like reaching up and grabbing the brass ring. Like, I think the first step for the Celtics to truly be like a dominant championship team is to have a hierarchy. It gives them such a huge advantage to this point to have two like top 10 players. But no one knows who the best player is. You got to have the best player. Like, you got to know who's going to take over the game for you, like Luka Doncic is going to for the Mavs.
Well, every great championship team has always had a Batman and a Robin.
Right.
Who is that?
Right.
Who? And I'm asking that rhetorically. I'm not asking any.
Totally.
Who is that?
I mean, the only real NBA championship that had two Batmans is the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. But Kobe was young enough that he had to be the Robin, even though he didn't want to be the Robin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But everybody else, and that's why somebody like LeBron is so transcendent, because he's so apparently the alpha
all the time.
That even the other Hall of Famers that he plays with are like, yeah, you got it, man. You're the alpha.
You're the dude.
Even if I'm Dwayne Wade and I'm a multiple-time NBA champion, it's still your team. The Celtics don't have that. I think that's what holds them back. So then you also just watch them in games. They just have operational flaws. Like, they don't run good stuff down the stretch of games because they don't know where they're going.
Or who is that person to get it to get it going?
Exactly. And a lot of times Tatum or Brown will bail them out, but they're a little bit funky. They're 78-20 so far this year, and yet they still seem like a disappointing team sometimes because they're just so frustrating to watch, right?
It's because it's how they win, and when they have lost, it's how they lost.
Yeah,
like when you win, like for how talented you are and how good they were this year, like there's nothing definitive about them. I guess that's what you're searching and reaching for, my friend. Is like there's nothing that characterizes who they are, because they don't have that aspect to them, which I kind of like that in some ways. It's the no names, right? It's literally about the name on the front of the jersey.
Right.
It's about the organization. It's about the program. So just, different frame of reference or a different lens to look through, sometimes not having that dude, we're so accustomed to that. That's our learned behavior.
Yes.
That's our attention bias, right?
Right.
So maybe this could just be a new mold. This could be just something we're not used to it.
For sure.
And it's irritating sometimes because you want to anoint that. You want that Batman. You want that whoever. You want that dude.
That's right.
And this team just doesn't have that. I mean, they've got nice pieces. Don't get me wrong, but...
So let me ask you this.
Please do.
If one of these two guys reaches up and does grab the brass ring, like if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum goes and just is the finals MVP and leads the Celtics to the championship.
Yeah.
What does that do for their future? Does it hinder the other guy? Because make no mistake, like if the Celtics...
Or it makes the other guy feel comfortable.
If we're talking about this championship belt, like this world championship belt, if the Celtics win the championship, neither one of those guys is taking that belt from Jokic. Jokic is wearing the belt right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's up for grabs, though, because if the Mavs win and Luka's the finals MVP, Luka's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's some sort of transcendent performance by Jason Tatum, he's the only one of the two that could take the belt. But I still don't think he's there because he's just not quite a top guy. He's a top 10 player, no doubt. He's not. I don't think he's the best player in the world, though, under any circumstances, no matter what they do. I just think it's interesting, right? Like, I think if Jason Tatum reaches up and grabs the brass ring and is the finals MVP, Celtics are fine. Because I agree with you. I think it makes Jaylen Brown more comfortable. If Brown reaches up and grabs the brass ring, I think that messes with Tatum's mind, and I think that screws them up down the road. You wouldn't sacrifice the future for the present. You want to win the championship.
Right. I think Tatum would be the better person to take it, but I think he might revel better in the role of being that, hit or miss hero. I think the expectation of him trying to be the man consistently might just be too much for his shoulders, regardless of his top 10 talent. He just doesn't exude. Not everyone exudes that. Not everyone's Jerry Rice. Sometimes you need the John Taylors, right?
For sure.
Like you just kind of need that. And I just think we have, people like you and I have grown up with such galvanized athletes that we're unaccustomed to having a team in the finals without just having that dude be the face or the funk, if you will, for the team. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Nuanez ESPN Radio NBA Talk presented by Sportsbet Montana. If you do think the Mavs are going to win the championship, which I do, I think it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to be really hard to beat the Celtics, especially in Boston. But I do think the Mavs are going to win this series. If you agree with me, I would go look at some of the futures bets on Sportsbet Montana's machine, because there is all sorts of plus odds on there for, Mavs to win in 6, Mavs to win in 7, Mavs to win the series outright, Luka to be the finals MVP. You can get plus 200 or more on all those bets I just named. And, I'm not guaranteeing nothing. And I do think that's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out. I do also believe the Celtics should be favored. I just think Luka's got that special sauce right now. So if you are inclined to like the underdog in the series as a whole, go check out those futures bets on Sportsbet Montana kiosk. Want to find one? You can go to the Sportsbet Montana website, click on locations. You can also get that Sportsbet Montana app in your life. Appreciate Sportsbet Montana for bringing us NBA playoff talk all playoffs long. Smart or Dumb, NFL style next. Keep it right here. ESPN Radio.
The Missoula Community Foundation would like to thank everyone who participated in Missoula and Bitterroot Gives, our annual community giving day. Together, we supported over 200 local nonprofits that help to make our community a great place to live, work, and play.
Thanks to the support of more than 4,000 donors, our community supported over 200 local nonprofits, raising over $1.3 million.
If you missed Missoula Gives on May 2nd and 3rd, there is still time to contribute and take part. Learn more and give at missoulagives.org.
Ready to dive into some sizzling deals? This weekend only, Mountain Hot Tub is hosting a spectacular pop-up sale at the Ravalli County Fairgrounds. Don't miss out on their lowest prices of the year. Check out unique one-of-a-kind spas, 2023 demo models, and a wide selection of refurbished hot tubs with prices starting at just $19.95. These deals won't last long. Hurry in to meet the Mountain Hot Tub team and find the spa of your dreams. Sale starts Thursday, May 23rd at 10 a.m. Mountain Hot Tub at the Ravalli County Fairgrounds. They can't wait to see you there.
I call myself a confident backseat driver. Mom, brakes, please.
Gotcha.
But I'm less confident in the economy.
Same here, buddy.
Thankfully, Les Schwab Tires helps make sure that our safety never takes a backseat, even when we're watching our wallets.
Roll into summer. Save up to $200 instantly on a wide selection of tires and wheels. Les Schwab Tires. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Details at leschwab.com/sale.
The action unfolds at Washington Grizz Stadium on September 28th. Vertex Fitness presents the Zootown Challenge, Missoula's only obstacle course race. Expert, novice, kids, and individuals with disabilities participate in the spirit of healthy competition. Net proceeds support Missoula's opportunity resources. Early bird registration ends May 31st. Sign up at zootownchallenge.com. Zootown Challenge, September 28th. Stop by Vertex Fitness for details.
Red's Bar is a beloved institution in downtown Missoula. Whether you want to watch a game, enjoy a cold beer, spend time with friendly faces, or simply wind down, the welcoming atmosphere and wonderful staff at Red's will make you feel right at home. Red's features 14 HD TVs and 2 full-service bars. Stop by and grab a beer with friends while you watch your favorite team play, and check out the extensive collection of awesome sports memorabilia. Red's Bar in downtown Missoula, the friendliest sports bar in town. For almost a decade, Farmers State Bank has been helping us at ESPN Radio bring you the best of the best in prep sports coverage as part of our Prep Extra. Now we have a new extension of our Prep Extra, the Bitterroot Breakdown. To find out what's going on in high school sports across the Bitterroot Valley, tune in once a week to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio. The Prep Extra and the Bitterroot Breakdown, proudly presented by Farmers State Bank. Farmers State Bank has been enriching the lives of Montanans since 1907.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
On the very last jump of her high school career, Ava Kellenberg had the leap of a lifetime. Hello, I'm Andrew Houghton. At the Class AA State Track and Field Championship meet in Great Falls, Kellenberg, a senior at Missoula Sentinel, soared 40 feet and 8 inches in the triple jump, shattering the all-class record held by former Spartan standout Lauren Hagen since 2019. The epic jump broke Hagen's old mark by nearly a foot. Kellenberg is headed to UCLA next season. At the Class A meet in Laurel, Olivia Lewis also had an unforgettable performance to smash another all-class state record. The Corvallis senior dynamo ran 41.86 seconds in the 300-meter hurdles to obliterate the former all-class record, which has been held since 2013 by former Missoula Sentinel and Washington State standout Liz Harper. Lewis's effort helped the Corvallis girls cruise to their second straight title, and Lewis, who is headed to Montana State next year, won gold medals in the 100 hurdles and the 400 meters as well. The Corvallis boys also took home the Class A state title over the weekend. Wyatt Miles shattered the Class A state record in the shot put, heaving the weight 60 feet, 9.5 inches to help the Blue Devils edge Whitefish by 1.8 points. The Jefferson County boys won the Class B state title for the fourth year in a row. Dalton Noble, who will play football at Montana State next year, led the way by winning the shot put and placing third in the discus.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Selway Armory. 1, 2, 3. Nuanez now on ESPN Radio.
And spending most their lives living in the future paradise. And spending most their lives living in the future paradise. They've been looking in their minds for the day that sorrow's lost from time. They keep telling of the day when the Savior of love will come to stay. Tell me who.
I'm making this point for like the fourth time, but I'm telling you, the 3-album run, 1971 to 1974, Stevie Wonder. It's got to be one of the greatest of all time. Welcome back. Nuanez now, ESPN Radio, Rajim Seabrook, kicking it with me, Colter Nuanez. Let's put this in perspective. The album of the year is like the Super Bowl trophy of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only been one artist that's ever won 4 album of the years. That's Taylor Swift. She just got her 4th. There's only, I think, 3 or 4 other artists that have ever won 3. Stevie Wonder's the only other dude to ever go back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
3 in a row. In 3 years.
That's a goat in my book.
I mean, it's amazing because everybody knows about Stevie Wonder, and certainly there's certain songs that have become, they become beyond transcendent. They're like a part of, the American lexicon.
Back to back. It's ridiculous. But you know what? Much like Stevie, much like you and I, we didn't see it coming. Sorry. That was such low-hanging fruit. Don't shoot me, folks. Definitely, please don't shoot me. It was funny, but don't shoot me.
It is funny. Little Pastime Paradise, which is the prelude of Gangster's Paradise.
You mean like Weird Al didn't do that with the Amish Paradise?
No, Amish Paradise.
Hey, don't forget, that's one of the best parody artists of all time. Man, if not the best parody artist of all time.
I remember being in like 5th grade and really loving like rap music, but my parents like wouldn't let me buy the parental advisories. So I would go buy the Weird Al album, just like get the right beats, like rapping Amish Paradise, and then trying to steal the what was the movie called? Dangerous Minds.
Yeah,
with Michelle Pfeiffer. Great
amazing movie.
I'm like one of the youngest of my cousins. I got a bunch of cousins, dozens of cousins, and all of them are way older. So they were all teenagers when I was like 10. So I was always like, mad because I couldn't get the parental advisory CDs when they get them or whatever. But I always used to try to borrow the Friday soundtrack and the Dangerous Minds soundtrack. But in the meantime, so I wouldn't get in trouble, I'd listen to the Weird Al version instead. Amish Paradise, hilarious.
That explains so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the riddle of the Sphinx has been answered. Thank you so much.
Second concert I ever went to. First concert I ever went to, Willie Nelson.
Interesting.
In Missoula.
My first concert was not very good.
My second concert was Weird Al at the Wilma, sat front row for one of my good friends' 9th birthdays. We just thought it was the greatest thing in the whole world.
Interesting. My second concert was amazing.
What was your first?
My first was Mr. Mister.
Remind me.
Take These Broken Wings.
Oh, gosh.
I know, dude. Really embarrassing. And then,
where at?
I was on. They used to have
this
these.
Is in New York?
In New York City. Okay. They used to have these concerts called the Pier Series, and they would have concerts down on the piers.
Yeah.
And I loved Mr. Mister, and my dad took me to see it, and I looked back at it, and I was like, dude, there were only 15 people there. I was in the front row. It was awesome. And I was like, but it was Mr. Mister. So, yeah. Anyway.
15 people.
Dude, it was horrible. But my second concert, and we already spoke about him today, is I saw a Stevie Wonder at Radio City Music Hall as a young man.
Man, what a great show that is. That's an awesome one. Shout out to our friends at Cash One Pond. Cash One Pond has unbelievable amount of inventory, and they have a new way you can shop online. So make CashOnePond.com part of your shopping habits. You're in the market for anything from a keyboard to a guitar, some power tools to some firearms. Cash One Pawn has an unbelievably extensive inventory as well as affordable prices, competitive prices across the board. CashOnePawn.com. That's cash, the number one, pawn.com. Cash One Pawn, Missoula's premier pawn shop. All right, a little smarter, dumb NFL over-under win totals. Last week we did the NFC East and the NFC North. So actually, I think we did three, right? We did the NFC East, the AFC West, and the NFC North. So
we did the NFC South as well because we talked about we talked about the Bucks, the Aints.
Yep, that's correct.
And the Carolina Kitties.
Okay. So that means we actually got through four, so let's do the other four then. So what we have left is the NFC West, the AFC North, the AFC South, and the AFC East. Pick which one.
Let's start on the left side of the country and work our way east.
Okay, so we'll go NFC West.
Yes.
All right, the San Francisco 49ers have the tied for the highest over-under win total on the board headed into the 2024 season, 11.5. I, as well as my brother, when we did this exercise a couple weeks ago, we both took the over.
Absolutely, take the over without a doubt. They're gonna win the NFC West hands down. So that's 6 games automatically.
Right.
When I look at a couple of their other games, like they're games that are going to be competitive because they're other professional athletes. But like San Fran's, they're stacked on both sides of the ball.
I think it's also the window is getting more narrow. I think you have a couple good years of Christian McCaffrey left, but I think you're waning in the time of good years you have left with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel.
And Brandon Ayuk.
You're going to have to pay one of these guys.
Absolutely.
They're going to pay Ayuk before they pay Deebo because he's just younger.
Absolutely.
And he had a breakout year last year, whereas Deebo's had a hard time staying healthy.
Yep.
And, Kittle's just, we've seen it with Travis Kelce. He's, it's just really hard to be an inline tight end and perform at the same level over and over and over again. So, I think that gives them a sense of urgency.
Absolutely, and I think that on the other side of the ball, as much as I love Fred Warner, linebackers wear down when you start making 120 plus tackles a year.
For sure,
you only get a 3-year window opportunity for stuff like that. So this is the year. Maybe next year for San Fran to do it. To me, even though I grew up a Giants fan, I was a huge Joe Montana fan. This was always like one of my peripheral teams. So I'm hoping it's the over, and I'm taking the over with you and the sharply dressed brother known as Brooks Nuanez as well.
You also have, you got, they traded for Chase Young, but now I'm looking at their depth chart. What's going on with Chase Young? Maybe I missed something here.
Who knows, dude? Who cares? Who cares? I don't care about this.
Oh, he signed with New Orleans. Interesting.
This guy has all the physical talent in the world. He just mentally can't get it together.
True.
So it's like 1 word, 4 letters. Next.
All right. NFC West. We'll go with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
The over-under win total set at 8.5.
Under.
I took the over.
Not looking at their schedule, they're just they lose hands down probably the best defensive lineman ever.
One of them for sure.
Matt Stafford is another year older, another year less mobile, and
Yep. On the other hand, they endured the Cooper Kupp injury last year. That gave them then the emergence of Puka Nacua,
who was
great. They still have Tutu Atwell. That's a sweet receiver group now. Like, you didn't know that Nacua and Atwell were gonna be so sweet, and now they're sweet. And then you get Cooper Kupp back too. That's a really good trio. Stafford can still slang it.
Can they all stay healthy?
I know. The other, I think, a really underrated signing, though, is the signing of Jimmy Garoppolo. Because Garoppolo is not good enough to be your dude if you want to go all the way, but he's
good
great
enough for not letting you fall out through the basement.
Stafford's whole career has been he gets through 10 weeks, then he has to take a month off, and then he comes back. He's tough as nails, but he can't get out of the way, so he just gets banged up a little bit. when you fall off the cliff and you're who are they? They were starting Brett Rippon last year. Like, you can't score. You can't score a touchdown with that as your quarterback. Garoppolo can at least score a 14 points or whatever and
absolutely
keep you in it. Losing Donald does hurt. Their defense is good but not great. I think the shine on Sean McVay has worn off just a little bit, but I still think he's one of the better coaches in the league. Man, I agree with you, though. I'm not that confident in my over. I think it's right there, right? Like, I think the Rams are going to be like an 8-9 team. If things go well for them, they're going to be a 9-8 team.
See, I think they win 6 to 7 games this year. Because they have enough, like you say, they have enough fire. I don't want to say firepower. They have enough fireworks to get them a couple of wins.
Let's do it real quick. At Detroit, loss.
That's a loss.
So I'm just counting wins. At Arizona, I think that's a win.
That's a win.
San Francisco at home, loss.
Loss. Count that times 2.
Okay. Well, I'm just counting wins, though. At Chicago, it's a coin flip.
That's a push. That's a fart in a skillet. Whatever pops off first.
We'll give them a win just for exercise sake. Green Bay in L.A., loss.
Loss.
Vegas.
Loss.
Okay. Minnesota in Los Angeles on Thursday Night Football, excuse me. I think that's a win.
That might be a win. Minnesota's trash.
At Seattle, it's probably a loss. Miami, it's a loss.
Yeah.
New England, win.
That's a win.
Philadelphia, loss. At New Orleans, probably a win.
Maybe.
Buffalo in L.A., loss. At San Francisco, loss. At the New York Jets, loss. Arizona home, win. Seattle at home, win. 7. You're right.
I said 7.
Yeah, you're right. I might
Thank you. You better buy me dinner now, Jack.
Changing my answer. Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. Raheem Seabrook kicking it with us, a little over under win totals. All right, Seattle Seahawks. The number is set at 7.5. I got the under on this one. I don't have hardly any justification for this other than I just don't think that Mike Macdonald's going to be able to do it right away. I do think he has potential to be a good to really good head coach. But I think taking over for a dude who has been in that chair for so long and is such an icon, and who did it in such a different way than everybody else,
absolutely,
it's tough.
Yeah, I'm going to side with you, my friend. You can take the under on that.
When I heard, because I know that people are, Geno Smith might have another good year left. They have a great offensive skill set with Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like that's a good offensive, sort of.
But
core.
will it mesh with a new system that's been entrenched for 1,500 years?
The number one thing that turned me off on the
give it to me
on Mike Macdonald is that like culture in the NFL is a lot different than culture in college. College is all about your band of brothers, you're being together. It's all these different things. We need to be hanging out, be tight as possible. You're going to breakfast together. You're playing video games together. All this stuff. By and large, the NFL is just about doing your job, being a professional.
Show up
for work, do your job.
Hard hat, lunchbox, go to work.
Study your stuff.
That's it.
Go home. Let's do it.
Peace.
Seahawks had a very college-like culture, though, where it's kind of like, hey, let's all, we're out here in no man's land. We're on the West Coast. Nobody pays attention to us. We're in a different time zone than everybody else. We got this great home field advantage, all that. Pete Carroll ran it very much like a college program. That's why this thing worked. When Mike Macdonald got that job, he took down everything in their facility as like homages to the old Seahawks, like Russell Wilson and the trophies, and like the trophies are still up, but like they had displays about the Legion of Boom and Sean Alexander, all this stuff from Seahawks history. He took it all down so they could like sort of remake the history. I don't think that's the wrong way to go about it long term. I just think that's going to really negatively affect you in the short term.
I think it does, especially for the guys that have been within that system for so many years. This is called trends of culture, right? Like the trend of the culture is about to change in the building. What I like about it is the psychology and the sociology behind it. Instead of looking at the faces of what used to be here, make your face be here now.
Right.
Right? Like to me, that's almost like there's a sense of urgency. We're getting rid of this because the history has not lived up to current times.
Sure.
Right? We need to get by. This is great.
Yeah.
You can Google all this crap.
Right.
But what we need is the now, and it's about the faces in the building. So, like, I kind of like it.
Oh, I do, too. I just think it's not going to happen right away.
I don't think it's going to happen right away. I agree with you.
You can't have the turnover right away.
No.
Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. This is what me and my brother argued over the most among any of the numbers on the board. Arizona Cardinals.
Why? Stop. Why are you and your brother arguing about anything about the Arizona Cardinals?
Because we did the whole NFL. The win total set at 6.5. I got the under. Brooks takes the over.
Brooks, I like your brother, but I got to call. I got to call little brother out on this one, man. Like, go home and do some math, baby boy. Like, no, under. Give us the schedule. We'll do what we did. Let's go.
All right, we'll do it
Let's
quick.
go. Let's go.
Kyler Murray is back. James Conner is a solid running back. They drafted Marvin Harrison
Give me
Jr.
the schedule.
out of Ohio State. But I agree with you, man. I think they're
horrible.
They're all right on defense. They're bad on the offensive line. And
Kyler Murray's not the answer.
I know I'm the hater, man. I don't think Kyler Murray's good, man.
I don't think he is
I think he's electric. I think he's athletic. I think
he's great.
Throw it, but he's not good.
Give me some sub packages.
Right.
Give me a real quarterback.
We're just counting wins. At the Bills, loss. Los Angeles and Arizona, we already said that's a loss. Detroit and Arizona, loss. Washington coming to town, that's a win. Maybe.
You think they'll beat
at home?
Dude, Washington's offense is salty.
All right, we'll say loss. At San Francisco, loss. At Green Bay, loss. So now you're talking 0-6 start.
First round pick? What? First pick?
Los Angeles coming to town. We already said that was a loss.
Loss.
At Miami,
loss.
Chicago coming to town. Coin flip. We'll give them one win.
We'll give them one.
New York coming to town.
Loss.
At Seattle, loss. At Minnesota, loss. Seattle coming to Arizona,
we'll give them another one.
Win. New England, win. At Carolina, win. At Los Angeles, loss. At San Francisco, loss.
Thank you.
First round pick coming your way. First top 10 pick coming your way for the
Top
Arizona
3.
Cardinals. We'll do one more division on the other side. Don't change that dial. Happy Friday, everybody. Nuanez now, ESPN Radio.
The Missoula Broadcasting Company is accepting applications for a full-time advertising account executive who is dedicated, passionate, and ready to make an impact. Our locally owned and operated stations, the Trail 103.3, U1045, 105.9 Jack FM, and ESPN Missoula 102.9 are not just radio stations. They are vibrant communities that deliver exceptional results for our business partners. As a local broadcaster, we have a unique opportunity to connect with businesses with the community through the power of radio advertising. Help local businesses thrive while making a positive impact on the community we love. We believe in placing the needs of our clients above all else. You'll have the chance to build strong relationships and create real value for our advertising partners. We are committed to your success. With extensive training and continuous support, you'll have everything you need to thrive and grow your career. Join a team that's encouraging, collaborative, and just plain fun to work with. We celebrate each other's successes and work together towards common goals. If interested, contact us through our website at MissoulaBroadcasting.com.
It's time for the Montana Club Comfort Food and Game Day Drink Specials. Every Saturday and Sunday, the club's Grizzarita, Huckleberry Margarita, Caesars, and Bloody Marys are only $8. Pair them with custom grilled prime grade Montana Club steaks or a tender prime rib sandwich. And don't forget the cheese fries. Full menu at MontanaClub.com. So get into the Montana Club today for an unrivaled flavor experience on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Do you or your aspiring student need a convenient, affordable place to live while attending the University of Montana? Look no farther than Rome Student Housing. Located on Front Street, just a 10-minute walk from the UM campus and from downtown Missoula, Rome offers a variety of living options for UM students. High-speed Wi-Fi and a TV package with more than 100 channels, including the NFL Network, comes with your unit, and each unit has a full-size washer and dryer, plus its own full bathroom. Rome offers pet-friendly apartments, too. For more information, visit liveatrome.com.
Get ready, Montana. Place bets on your favorite teams and games, both collegiate and professional, with Sportsbet Montana. With over 500 locations statewide, it's never been easier to get in on the action. Choose from spreads, money lines, parlays, and more. Excitement? You bet. Action? You bet. Winning? You bet. Visit sportsbetmontana.com or download the app now. Sportsbet Montana, Montana's exclusive sportsbook.
Greater Good Health believes that quality health care should be available to everyone, and proactive health care is the key to a longer, healthier quality of life. Now open in the Northgate Plaza on North Reserve, Greater Good Health offers specialized care for older adults with same-day and next-day appointments. Visit greatergoodhealth.com for more information or call 406-412-7020. That's 406-412-7020.
It's Nuanez now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I had 3 that I knew were samples and 2 that I didn't know were samples. I did not know
that's a great one.
Summertime by Fresh Prince, and DJ Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith in his first iteration. Didn't know that was a sample.
Oh, huge sample.
Cool in the game.
And that's like an 8-minute song, too.
I bet.
Just to let you know, like when people actually played instruments, you know?
Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Missing the show, you can always find it. Nuanez Now podcast, probably presented by the M Store, where they're all grizz all the time. MSU Bookstore, best place for blue and gold on game day or any other day. And Schulte Law Firm. Had a bad day, been in a car accident that wasn't your fault. Call Schulte Law. Rajiv Seabrook, Colter Nuanez. Only a couple minutes left.
Let's go.
Reminder.
Quick.
Reminder, Monday no show. I'm on my way back. I didn't even tell you this. We're going to Vegas. So going to do Adele tomorrow night. So I know your eyes.
Dude, bring me back. You have to bring me back t-shirt.
Okay, I will.
All right. Sure. All right. I'll definitely let you buy me.
Is this for you or for Chloe? You want on.
It's for Chloe.
Well, I mean, Chloe's getting like a whole suit if it's going to be your size. You want a little XL?
I'm a double XL.
Double XL.
I'll put the weight back on.
My man. No, you did not. You look great. Let's do one more.
AFC West or AFC East.
AFC East. All right.
Just because it's easy.
The Buffalo Bills, 10.5. I got the over.
I got the over just because
I think it's right there, man.
I think it's right there.
Here's the thing: 11-7 for the Bills
is doable.
It's also like not that good of a season, man.
No, it is.
If you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you got to be going 12-5, man.
But you lose one of the best receivers in the league, which now makes you, a little less.
11-6. I'm sorry, I always do that. It's 11-6. It's a 17 game season, 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Either way, I think 12 wins is where you got to be at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only the Chiefs have this sort of formula where you can like win 11 games and still win the Super Bowl. Everybody else, you got to have that home field advantage because you're not going to go to Kansas City and win.
No, good luck. Snowball's chance.
All right, the Dolphins are also at 10.5. I know. Excuse me, the Dolphins are at 9.5. I misstated. I didn't write these down, but I'm going from memory. But the Dolphins are at 9.5, and so are the Jets. They're both at 9.5.
I'm going to say, gosh,
I know.
I'm going to say over for the Dolphins. They're going to win more.
I'm saying over for the Dolphins as well. I'm also saying over for the Jets.
Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy,
that's what I think. I think maybe the Bills do go under because you have like 3 10-win teams, because I think all these teams are going to beat each other up. I think they're all going to beat up on the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots
are 4.5, and I got the under.
Oh, they're done.
I think the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL.
Worse than Carolina?
Patriots are worse than Carolina. I think
worse than what?
Because you're moving on from. They've had new coach this century, man.
I know.
But Carolina's also the most deplorably run organization in all of pro sports. So
that's what I'm saying.
But, like, Carolina has a dude who's got a year of NFL experience playing quarterback who's also just better than Drake May.
Oh, gosh,
Bryce Young's better than Drake May, and he's got a year of NFL experience.
So, yes.
We're on it, though. You're saying Bills over, Jets over, Dolphins over, and Patriots under.
Absolutely. Patriots are a dumpster fire.
Here we go. Smart. Everybody's smart. Thanks for kicking it with us. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and be good. This has been Nuanez Now. It's ESPN Radio.
With 55 TVs, the Silver Slipper is the place for you to watch all the sports. Whether it's NFL, NBA, or NHL, the Silver Slipper will have it on for you. Drink specials every day, 20 Keno machines, a liquor store, and pizza. There's nowhere else you should be watching your favorite team. At the Slipper, it's all about great food,